If you are ready to sit down and do some financial planning this year, I have a very easy exercise for you to do in this video that involves a little bit of just writing things down, asking yourself some very basic questions in 4 key areas. Shout out to Simplify by Quicken, who is sponsoring this video. Simplify by Quicken is an easy to use budgeting app that I've been testing out, but more on that later. Hey guys, it's Justine with Debt Free Millennials, the channel to help you crush your debt and live payment free. Now, in order to really crush your debt and live this debt-free life, it does take some intentional planning on your part, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming or complicated. I have a very simple process that I personally use for my own financial planning, and this is what it looks like. There are 4 major categories that we can start parsing up your finances into. Now that includes debt, savings, investing, I feel like a mime now, and spending. Okay, mime game's over. But if we can break it up into those 4 major categories, I think this is going to be a lot easier for us to dive into and start planning out. So if you can, either pause this video and pull up your notes or start jotting this down in a journal, whatever makes sense to you. Let's go ahead and start off with debt, because I think this is the one that gives people the most grief. You're going to ask yourself 2 questions. The first question is, which debt ticks me off the most? So you're going to need to have a pulse on all of the debts that you currently have. So that may mean you make a spreadsheet and write down everything listed out. Maybe you start connecting some accounts and some loans that you know you have using that Simplify app. You can actually do that within the app, where you can connect your loans into the app. Or maybe it's simply pulling your credit report, and you can do that for free using annualcreditreport.com, and that can pull a credit history using the 3 major credit bureaus, including Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Once you have them all listed, just take a look at that list and think, which one of these just really makes me upset, sad, angry, or disappointed? If you can zero in on that debt, that will be the one that you focus on for this year. And that leads me into my next question, which is, what can I do realistically to pay off this debt each month? Maybe it means that you have to take a look at your budget and shave off some dollar amounts from other categories and dump it into that debt payment. Maybe you pick up an extra side gig and extra income opportunities to put towards that debt. Now, if you can zero in on one debt, that's going to make you more effective and more motivated to attack the next debt. You can start with the loan that has the smallest outstanding balance to give yourself a quick win, or you can start with the one that has the highest interest rate, where you know you want to save a lot of money in the long run by focusing on that one that may have upwards of 29% interest. Okay, so that's kind of your debt focus. If debt is an area that you want to focus on that one debt that ticks you off the most, and then ask yourself what you can realistically do to pay it down each month. Let's talk about the next bucket, which is your savings bucket. Of course, we want to save for everything, or maybe just one big thing. Maybe you're saving up for a wedding or a honeymoon. Maybe it's a down payment, or you're saving for a new baby or a new car. Whatever it is, it definitely has to have a goal, and a realistic one. So one of the things, if you're unsure of which savings goal you want to attack first, ask yourself this question: what would I love to have cash for? If you could have all of the cash ready to go, you didn't have to worry about it, what would you love to have cash to pay for? Maybe it truly is a second car, and that's really ringing in your ears, or maybe you are just like, screw it, I just need a vacation in the mountains, and that's what I need to have cash set up for. If you have multiple goals, your next question is, which goal would I like to hit first? Now, your savings goals, you can save for things simultaneously. I do that all the time, but you'll want to prioritize which one you want to hit first. I have a whole video on how to set up savings goals correctly. You can check that up here in the cards. But basically what you want to do is make sure your savings goal has a number associated to it. What amount do you need? When do you need that amount by? And how much do you need to save each month? If it's kind of ambiguous like baby, then you can make it a little bit more specific by focusing on things like I want things for baby's nursery. That includes crib, bookshelf, changing mat, new rug, all of those specifics, and then you can start researching and seeing how much those items are. I've actually done this for my daughter's bedroom that we are redoing and repurposing as both her bedroom and also a guest room when guests come visit. And so I made a spreadsheet of this is the item I want, this is how much it is, and this is what I can do to save up for it each month, and boom, I have a plan in place for it. Now, savings goals do require some attention and just some check-ins, and that's where Simplified by Quicken comes into play. They actually make setting up savings goals inside of the app very easy, and you're able to see how it affects your budget. So if you're ready to use a budgeting app, Simplified by Quicken is definitely one that you want to check out. This app allows you to plan your spending, see your bank accounts, credit cards, debt, investments all in one spot in one dashboard. Plus you can see what bills have been paid and what paychecks are going to hit your checking account even before they get there. Now, as I mentioned, Simplify lets you set up savings goals, which you can track through your spending plan so you know what to prioritize. Now, the app does cost $3.99 per month, but if you sign up using the link below, Simplify is allowing the DFM community access for free for the next 30 days. Definitely check out Simplify by Quicken using the link below. All right, our next bucket to focus on for financial planning is spending. Of course, we're gonna be spending some money this year, maybe a lot of money, but in order to get it under control, you gotta ask yourself these two questions. First question is, what would I love to spend lavishly on? If you could spend big money on whatever, on one thing, on multiple things, what is it? And your second question is, what things do I feel neutral or negative about spending money on? Because I think that is going to help you determine what things you can focus your dollars on. What things do you feel neutral or negative about? Maybe it's how often you go out for dinner, and maybe that's something that you really don't feel like you love to spend lavishly on. Maybe it's just something you're doing out of habit or convenience, and it's just not feeling good. Maybe you just feel okay about it. So here's where you can be more intentional with your spending. Now, intentional spending doesn't mean you have to be cheap or frugal. In fact, you can drop big money on some big ticket items and be very intentional about that because you're looking at this from a long-term perspective. Now, I'll give you an example. I just dropped a lot of money on a trundle bed for my daughter's room, and it's a piece that I know is going to last me a long time. It's going to be a bed not only for guests, but also a bed that my daughter can grow into. And so I'm looking at it from a 10-year timeline. So I decided to drop big money by purchasing a custom made-to-order piece that I feel really, really good about and that I absolutely love. And then our final category for planning is investing. Now you can ask yourself, what am I currently doing to save for retirement? Are you doing just bare bones? Are you just contributing 2% towards your retirement? And if you are just starting out, let's see how you can build momentum on that by increasing your percentage or your contribution towards retirement. And your next question is, do I understand it? If you don't understand how your retirement accounts work, perhaps it's time to invest in some personal finance literacy to get you going. Now, my friend Jeremy with the Personal Finance Club has an amazing course on how to build wealth by investing in index funds. I'm a big fan of index funds. So if you're interested in that course, sign up using the link below. I think he has just a great, simple approach to understanding investments, and it's particularly how index funds work. It's a phenomenal class, and I think that would be something that could benefit benefit you if you're thinking about really building up your retirement savings. Now, according to CNBC, millennials have an average account balance in their retirement of $63,300. And now if you're wondering, like I was wondering, is that good or bad? I know it's average, but is it good or bad? According to the motleyfool.com, you have to have twice the amount of money saved as your salary in your 30s. So if you are by age 35, if you are making $70,000 per year, you have to have saved $140,000. Now this could be a big stretch for some people, or maybe you're close to that amount already, or you're at that amount. So it's a good way to kind of do some checks and balances of how much money you have saved and what's going towards retirement. But I always strive for continually to inch my way up towards that max contribution limit and really maximizing those accounts. Don't forget, you can check out your investments, your debt, set up those savings goals and more using that Simplified by Quicken budgeting app. I will leave a link to that for you to sign up for the next 30 days for free, and I'll catch you in the next video.